Hello, this is Rafe from Reach Me Faster. We are a Google certified digital marketing agency specializing in generating new patients for dental and medical practices. And in this video, I'd like to quickly go over this new feature. It's not actually a new feature, it has been around for some time, but recently Google has actually brought it more in the forefront, and that is the demographic targeting, and how dentists especially and also medical practices can use this form of targeting to reach specific demographics, specific patients, specific age groups, income brackets, to acquire new patients. So let's quickly dive in and see what kind of targeting is actually available to advertisers on Google. So here it is. What can you actually target, or what can you optimize for? There is age, or specifically age groups, then gender, then household income, parental status, marital status, education level, and then home ownership status as well. Obviously, not all of these are recommended for every advertiser. You just have to look into your advertising goals and then determine which one of these demographics would be most suitable for you to optimize, for you to target. So let's quickly go through each of these demographic targeting items, and more specifically I'm going to talk about dentists in this video. Maybe I'll do another video for medical practices, but because there's so many different medical specialities, it's not possible to group them in one video. But this one video is specifically for dentists. So in age groups, we have these age brackets, 18 to 24, and then going all up to 65 or more. So what we have observed is that the best demographics to focus on is from 35 to 65 or more. Then of course there's a large category of unknowns where Google has no information about them, so you cannot actually do much about that. But you might want to consider excluding 18 to 24 and 25 to 34, or maybe you can just adjust the bids down for these and adjust the bids perhaps up for these 35 to 65 or more. You can increase the bid adjustment, and over here you can reduce the bid adjustment. The red color shows where you might want to reduce the bid adjustments or exclude them entirely, and the blue ones are of course where you might consider increasing the bids. And for unknown, of course, you cannot do much, but I would assume that the unknown category actually also has many of these age groups. So you do not want to exclude the unknown. Similarly, you do not want to adjust bids up and down. It's just that the data isn't available, so you just have to live with that. Next is the gender, of course, male, female, and unknown. Once again, I would not adjust bids on any of them because we have not seen any particular preference. Well, maybe because the females, the mothers, they might bring their children, so you may want to adjust the bids up for them a little bit. But again, you have to have data there available before you make that decision. So if you have that data available and you see, okay, yes, we want to target women more, and we want to be able to pay more per click if the searcher is a woman, then you might want to combine it with, for example, parental status and women, and then you can bid a little bit higher for those clicks. Next, there is of course household income. Now this is of course important. So what we have seen, of course, is that we usually lower the bids, or we apply a negative bid adjustment for the low income group, like lower 50% or 41 to 50%. We do not usually increase bids. Basically, we keep a high bid and simply apply a negative bid adjustment for these groups. And again, unknown also contains different income groups, but majority of them are going to be low income. Okay, so just like there's the top 10%, few people belong to that group. 11 to 20%, again, few people belong to that group. It's most of the population lies in 41 to 50% or lower 50%, and therefore if you go by the same ratio, you'll find that most of the unknown people actually belong to the lower 50% or 41 to 50%. So you might want to apply a little bit of a negative bid adjustment for the unknown, but you should definitely not exclude that category because it has a significant number of clicks. but you can, however, reduce the bids for those clicks, just like you might want to reduce the bids on 41 to 50% group or the lower 50% group. Next, we have the parental status. This again is a different kind of, actually it's not available straight away in your campaigns. You actually have to dig a little bit deep to reach this deeper demographic, you could call it. But it is available for search campaigns as well as display campaigns and as well as video campaigns. So the categories that you have are parents of infants, toddlers, preschoolers, parents of grade schoolers, and parents of teens. Again, so maybe if you are a pediatric dentistry, you want to look into this a little bit more. But otherwise, I don't see any specific trend in favor or against these categories. We are not using them as much for our clients. The first three we use them very much, and almost every client we have some adjustment of sort for the age groups, for the gender, not for gender but for the household income. We use those categories very often. But these ones, as I said, you have to be careful how you want to approach them. Unless you have a specialization in anything, you may want to simply avoid that and cover everyone and anyone. Similarly, the marital status, again, we don't see any specific trend where we could pinpoint that married people or married consumers spend more on dentistry. I'm not sure about this trend. So we do not use it. However, you could, for example, create offers. Similarly to the parents, you could, if you create a separate campaign targeting parents of, let's say, for example, toddlers, you could have the ad could be customized towards toddlers. So that is the beauty of this demographic targeting. Same with married or singles. Again, you could create an ad for bachelors, or you could create an ad for married couples, specific to them. So not only are you targeting by keyword, you're layering that information or you're layering that targeting with the marital status, and that would help you make your ad more relevant to those consumers. Again, these are very specific demographics, and perhaps it may not be to your advantage to use all of them. So you need to be strategic and you need to think deeply, what demographic actually matters for me, rather than just applying each and every one that is out there. Similarly, you have the education. So this might be interesting for some people, like any office that is near a college or near a university. You might be able to target current college students. You can apply a bid adjustment. You can apply a negative bid adjustment or a positive. If you want to avoid, you obviously apply a negative bid adjustment. And similarly, there is bachelor's degree, advanced degree, high school graduate. Okay, so this can be applied again in place of income. Maybe if the income targeting is not as accurate in your zip code or in your location targeting area, you might go by the education level, because there are studies that show that a higher degree of education actually improves the income. So there is a genuine correlation that exists over here. But again, you see, there are exceptions to that. So you have to be careful. You do not want to lose any patient just because you want to target a particular demographic. So experiment with it, but make sure you try all the options before actually deciding, okay, I just want to target advanced degree holders or bachelor's degree holders, because there's still a lot of the other population that has the money to pay for dental work. Next, of course, home ownership. Again, it's not like, for dentistry, I don't see why somebody would want to target homeowners, unless of course you want to customize the ad in such a way that it speaks to homeowners or it speaks to renters. Again, what matters is, do they have the finances to pay for dental work? If they do, doesn't matter they own a home or they don't own a home. As long as they have the insurance or they have the finances covered, they're welcome to any dental office. So the question arises, well, how to use this targeting, and where do you actually find it inside Google Ads? So first of all, you can apply a bid adjustment. It can be a negative bid adjustment or negative bid adjustment. You can exclude any of these demographics entirely, like you can exclude the particular demographic and income level to not see your ad at all. Again, some of those people actually may be found in the unknown group, and I don't recommend removing unknown group, because that also includes other demographics that you might want to actually target. And then of course layering, I talked about it earlier. For instance, you can apply, you can combine the keyword targeting, let's say dentist, root canal, etc., and then you can apply one of these income levels. Let's say you can put a positive bid adjustment on 20 to 30% group, and then you can also apply something like the education level or maybe parental status. Okay, so you were thinking, okay, well, maybe if I target parents, I could get multiple patients from just one appointment. So if entire family could become my patient if I just get one of them, the woman, the wife, or the man, the husband, to come to my practice. I could get all the children as well. Then you could use that targeting, and in addition to the income as well as the keywords. So that is what is basically layering all about. You're effectively using different layers of targeting in order to reach the exact demographic that you want. Maybe you want high income parents. So first you target with a keyword that gives you the intent that people are indeed looking for a dentist. Then you target with the income group, and then on top of that you target with the parents. So then you will basically reach high income parents that need a dentist right now. Now the caveat, the thing that you need to be careful about is that you do not want to overdo it. And I think I've already explained in each category that you have to be careful not to overdo it. By that I mean, make sure that you're using Google Ads for what it is. You want to reach people who need a dentist or who want a dentist. Okay, that's what Google search is all about. It's about reaching the people at the exact moment they put their hand up, or they type in Google, or they speak to their Google Assistant and ask, okay Google, who is the nearest dentist open right now? That is the person you want to reach first and foremost. And then of course you can be more specific with the income level or with the age group. But once you sort of go above and beyond that, then you have to be careful, because most dentists are local businesses. There's not a lot of population around, so you do not want to sort of apply so much targeting and be so specific that you do not end up getting any clicks or very few clicks. That would be a disaster. So just make sure you don't overdo it. So now let's take a look quickly at how you can actually apply these demographic targeting. So as I said, this targeting has been available for a while, but now of course you can see it as a separate tab inside your Google Ads account. This is basically, I'm at the campaign level. I've selected a specific campaign, new patients, and you can see demographic, the age. Here you can target by age group. So let's take a look at what we are, or what this campaign was using. Again, this campaign was not not using any specific targeting. It had applied all the age groups on all ad groups. Okay, so but for example, if it is dentures, let's say on the dentures ad group, you might want to exclude 18 to 24, 25 to 34, or 35 to 44, and you might only want to target 45 to 65 plus for the dentures ad group, because you're trying to target people who have already lost all their teeth. Or maybe it's Invisalign, and Invisalign you might, in ad group or campaign, you might only want to target from 18 to, let's say, 34, or maybe even maximum, well, 35 I think is going to be maximum. So only these two age groups could be targeted. But the thing is, you also have to remember, sometimes parents are also searching for their kids. So again, you have to target all of them, in my opinion. Or maybe grandparents are searching for their grandkids, the Invisalign solution or braces. So that's where you need to be careful. You need to be careful, think who is going to be searching, and based on that you make sure that your targeting is actually going to help you reach those people. You don't want to make it too narrow, otherwise you won't get clicks, or you may even lose clicks from the qualified searchers. Similarly, the gender, of course, you can, again, here, let's say for example, you can create a separate campaign targeting males, a separate campaign targeting females. That is possible. And on the male ad, you might talk something else. You make it more attractive for the male searcher. Maybe on the female ad, you could make it more attractive for the female searchers. It could be like on the landing page, for example, you could have a male model for the female searchers, or a female model for the male searchers. So you gotta, as I said, you gotta mix it up. You gotta test this. I haven't tested this, but this could be a hypothesis. Well, maybe male model smiling on the landing page is going to work better for the female searchers. I don't know. You have to test this. So this is something that you may want to try. Next, there is of course the household income. This is very important, and as I said, like age and household income, we have tried this and it works. So you want to make sure. Let me actually show you the distribution. So over here in this campaign for this account, you can see a lot of. So over here you can see, for instance, over the all time from 2008 or 12 years, whatever, most or vast majority of the clicks and conversions have come from the lower 50%. Now obviously I can't tell you the exact location, but they are located in a state where the income level is actually quite low. So we cannot entirely remove this. You know, that would mean effectively there is no searches, there is no clicks over here. As you can see, there's hardly any clicks from the other income groups. So we have to live with it. And that's again a lesson for everyone. You know, you have to depending upon the location of your practice, you have to apply these demographic targeting. You can't simply just go in and exclude lower 50%, because depending upon your location, you might end up removing 90% of the searches or clicks from your campaign if you just remove the lower 50%. But you can actually adjust it. You can, let's say, maybe bid a little bit lower. Let's say reduce the bids on this by 50%. That is called a negative bid adjustment of 50%. Like for instance, over here you see this bid adjustment. This is the dentist ad group. I'm talking about top 10%, and you want to obviously increase that. You want to pay higher for this, so you might increase this by 50%. On the other hand, let's say something like if we have the unknown category, what about the lower 50? Okay, so this is lower 50%. You might want to increase or reduce the. You might want to apply a negative bid adjustment over here. So instead of increase, you might apply decrease by 50% or something like that. Okay, so that is basically how you apply the bid adjustment based on income. And of course you can do that on gender as well. You can go in and you can see over here, female, for example, produces more conversions and clicks, and similarly for male. But the unknown is producing fewer conversions or basically calls or form submissions. So that it's not exactly an accurate data in 100%. You have to base your decisions on the results that you're getting, and of course the results that you want to get. Same is the age. So here you can see, for instance, these, as expected, these younger people, they actually 18 to 24, they actually produce fewer conversions and more clicks. So you might want to reduce the bids on them. So you apply a negative bid adjustment on 18 to 24 group. You say, okay, well, I'm willing to pay for them, but I don't want to spend the same amount of per click as I am spending on, let's say, 45 to 54. So I'm going to reduce the bids on them by 25%. You decrease it and save it. And that way, of course, you're still going to show your ad, but it's going to show lower down on the page. And even if an 18 or 24-year-old clicks on that ad, you are going to be charged less for that click compared to, let's say, a click coming from 45 to 54, which is indeed more valuable, and they will have probably more issues, and therefore are going to spend more money in your dental office for their treatment. Now, what about these deeper level of demographic targeting? That you can get from, or you can access from, this audiences tab. You go under audiences and then click on audiences again, and then you'll be asked to select an ad group. Over here the campaign is selected, but the ad group, let's say for example we want to target a specific audience. So over here, obviously in search you have some lists built in for dental and other medical practices. Google actually does not allow you to retarget because of personal advertising problems, but here is where you get the detailed targeting, who they are. So you go click on audiences, then you click on observation or targeting, and then you click on browse, and over here you get a list of the different demographics that I've already described, the deeper demographics. So first one is the parental status. We already discussed this. You can actually target these people. Okay, so you can select, I want to target this. you can target all, or you can target some. Similarly, marital status, you can target all, or you can target just one or two, or however many you want. Education, and then home ownership. Okay, so if you want to adjust the bids on individual one, you have to select this option, targeting. Then you will be able to actually add them and then adjust the bids based on the likelihood of them becoming a patient. So if you think, well, or the value to your practice, if you think these parents are more valuable, let's say for example, than parents of infants, well, you might want to pay less for the parents of infants, and you might want to pay more per click for parents of grade schoolers or teens or preschoolers. Okay, so there are two options. Target, this one allows you to narrow the reach of your campaign to the selected audience. So only those that you select will be shown your ad, and of course you'll be able to adjust the bids. Whereas over here you won't narrow the reach of the campaign. In fact, you just expand it based on the selection. So in addition to all the audiences, you will be able to target these, whereas over here you will actually have to apply the AND rule, meaning that you will have Google will try to target the keyword and any of the demographics over here that you've selected, and any of these detailed demographics that you select. Whereas over here they are going to combine. It's an AND or versus OR rule. And then of course I think I skipped home ownership. So over here you can also target specifically homeowners and renters. If you think there is a difference, you can apply a bid adjustment on these two different detailed demographics. So though that was the detailed demographics, the 4, plus there is different audiences. I'll cover them maybe in another video. Some of them are actually interesting, but again they do not apply to most local dental practices. If you are at national level and you have 100, 200 offices throughout the country, then we can talk about how interests and habits come into play. But maybe another video for that. So let's come back to where we left off. I think I've already gone over this, that you can apply a bid adjustment. You can exclude any of these. So let's say for example you want to exclude a lower income group, like I was talking about, lower 50%. You could actually just come over here and click on any of these ad groups, let's say, and you exclude this from the ad group. So for this ad group, if the searcher is from or belonging to this particular demographic, lower 50%, they will not see your ad. If they type in the search box dentist, for example, the keyword it was dentist and it was included in the dentist ad group, but the lower 50% people were excluded. If the searcher types in dentist, your ad will not appear to them. Okay, but if somebody from, let's say, 21 to 30% types in dentist, your ad from that ad group will show to them, hopefully, if you have a high enough bid. And then of course layering, I already explained a little bit. It's an advanced concept. Again, most dental offices should avoid doing it because it's going to reduce the click volume, and therefore the call volume, and therefore the patient volume. Why? Because once you start using these detailed demographics on top of one another, then you actually keep narrowing the target audience down until you actually end up with nothing, basically. I mean, very few clicks and calls. That what are you going to do with 2-3 patients? You rather have 2-3 patients of your ideal demographic. What are you going to do with them? Why not simply get 12-15 patients? Some of them will be ideal, some of them will not be ideal, but at least all of them are going to be paid patients. And then of course, related to that, of course, is don't overdo it, and that is my advice. This is some powerful targeting available. Some of these options are still not 100% accurate, so that is why it is recommended that you look into your statistics, look into actually the data that is available, 3 years, 5 years, last for a few years you've been running a campaign, and then ask your manager or ask the person who's running the campaign, or if you are doing on your own, just think about what targeting you could use with and what targeting is going to be too much to use, and based on that you might want to adjust the bids here and there, maybe exclude a couple of demographics that you do not want, but you do not want to just start using each and everything and narrow everything down to just a few thousand people in a city of million. That's just not going to help your campaign at all. So if you still have any further questions, I think I did a decent job explaining demographic targeting, but I'm sure still some questions, some confusions. I'm available on the Dental Town Marketing forums. You can hopefully find me there. I'm still pretty active. Maybe once or twice a week I do post over there. And then of course you can reach me by email, support@reachmefaster.com, or you can call me 941-462-4899. Although I prefer you contact me by email because of a time difference or the time zone difference. You may not be able to get me to answer the call at your convenient time. So better reach me by email, where I will be able to reply you at my own convenience. And of course then we can schedule a call at a more convenient time, at a mutually convenient time. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please share it with your colleagues, with your peers, with your friends, other dentists, other medical practitioners, so they can also use this powerful demographic targeting. Other than that, wish you the best of luck with your practice, with your Google campaigns, and hope to achieve great results for the remainder of the year and the next year and the next year coming in future. Goodbye for now.